So Death Stranding is Kojima's first video game that he has created. That's not, it's outside, Konami. It's outside any other kind of publisher or not publisher. I'm sorry, Sony's still, of course, the publisher, but the developing house is completely under his control. He doesn't have any kind of rules he's got to adhere to or anything like that. So this is creatively, it's his the whole thing is under his control, and there's been a lot of anticipation about the title, and it's been in development for a little over 3 years, and the now that it's out, it's interesting. I've had a conversation with someone not long ago, and they were so what's it like? What's it all about? And I just the only thing I could come up with is that it's not for everybody. It's really not. And the connotation that kind of that kind of wording, it's not for everybody. That kind of thing, I don't want it to seem like it's not for everybody. It's too nuanced, it's too niche, it's too highbrow, it's too big-brained video gaming for you to enjoy it. It's very, very complex. It's so hard to understand. It's nothing like that. Absolutely not. It's definitely not the whole Rick and Morty, you got to have a high IQ in order to understand. No, it's nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. The reason why I say it's not for everybody is because what you see is what you will spend almost all of your time doing. You will be trying to negotiate terrain such as mountains, streams, rivers, hills, valleys, plains, all of it. You just spend so much time moving. You spend so much time just walking around, and you're like, well, what am I supposed to? Okay, you're actually fulfilling orders. What you're doing is people order things, you deliver them. That's the whole. That's your key role in this, and you get told that often by the main character, played by Norman Reedus. You're a delivery person, and people say, "Hey, look, we need stuff. We need you to help us. Come on, come go get it. You need to help us out." So you go to the place, you pick up the stuff, and you take it to someplace else. That's mostly what you're doing in the game. If it serves a greater purpose, that goes without saying. When you do these things, you're helping bringing the world together. You're helping them establish a community of sorts by making sure that they have some sort of interstate traffic between the two of them. To me, I spend equal parts of the game walking from one place to another and marveling at how physically fit he is. You spend so much time carrying somewhere around 200 pounds of stuff on your back, and you try to mitigate how much you're carrying by putting parts of it on your arms and on your legs, and you have to manage a center of gravity, all kinds of stuff. You have to put a lot of thought into whether or not you can make it from point A to point B, which is kilometers away. So you have to kind of put that into consideration. But each trip from one place to another it's going to take you probably 10-20 minutes, depending on how far away it is. I think the longest it's taken me to get from one place to another was I think 30 minutes. And that's part of that is because it's not just a straight shot. There are hazards on the way. There's terrain that is extremely. It's difficult. It would be difficult to get over if you weren't carrying anything. But he's got, right at that point, he's got 71 kilograms. I don't know the conversion. I just go ahead and double it and call it 140 pounds. He's carrying 140 pounds of stuff, and it's on his back. So it's very, very. That's part of playing the game, is trying to negotiate that terrain from one place to another. And yes, one of the popular things to ask is, why in the world would I pay $60 to be a Shipt driver, to be an Instacart driver? Why would I do that? Because and I get that. That's why I'm saying it's not for everybody. There is a story behind it. There is a very, very difficult on the surface, difficult to understand story about how everything happened, why everything happened, and what your role is in getting things fixed, quote unquote fixed. It's because right now, like I said, if I order something from Amazon today, it gets on a plane, then it gets on a truck, and then it gets in a car, and then it gets to my house. All that happens in, I don't know, 36 to 48 hours. Here you will spend inordinate amounts of time taking stuff just from one place to another on foot. As you can see, there is no infrastructure. There are no airplanes. There are no highways. There are no subways. There are no railways. It's I guess the event that happened that caused all of this to dry up is very. I mean, it's explained in the game. I'm not going to get into that. I'll let the game explain it, because I mean it does in so many words. It does let you know that there's a reason why the eastern United States, which is where I am at right now. The eastern United States it looks like a untouched piece of wilderness in maybe Alaska or Canada or something like that. Some place where there isn't any kind of power lines, there's no fiber optic cable, there's nothing. I mean, it's a whole lot of nothing. But you'll spend, as long as you're okay, or as long as you're okay with that, as long as you can convince yourself that this is going to be worth putting your time and effort into, then I think you'll enjoy it. I know I enjoy it. And I will be honest, I didn't think I would. I got to put it into perspective, the last time Kojima came out with a game, it was Metal Gear Solid V. Metal Gear Solid V, when I got it, I played it and I played it and I played it and I didn't stop. This I can take breaks from, and I don't feel like ever getting back to it for like another day or two, or maybe a couple hours. It's not something that pulls me in and won't let go. It's something that I can take in bites, and I think that's. Don't call me crazy. I think that's part of the design in the game. If you get the game and you play it, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out why, or you'll probably be like, "That's probably what he was talking about." Oh my God, that's so true. Yeah, when you play it, you can sit down and you can play it for maybe 2 hours or something, and then you can let it go and be okay with it. The story doesn't pull you in so much that it's constantly giving you moments where you're waiting to see what's next and whatnot, and the time that you spend doing all the menial tasks and whatnot. When you're done, you're done. You turn it off, you move on. You go to play something else, you go to work, go to school, or something like that. Fine. That's how this game operates, and I think it's done intentionally. I'm not trying to say, "Oh no, you don't get it, you don't understand." Again, it's explained in the game. All I can tell you that is I have a hunch that it's intentional, that the game is not meant to just be plowed through. You can do that by all means, please. If you want to sit there and just grind it out for 24 straight hours, 36 hours, 2 or 3 days or whatever, please by all means do that. You can do it. I wouldn't do it. I can't do it. I won't do it. I just take my word for it. It's built that way, and you begin to understand why after a while. One of the neat things about the game is, in order to negotiate the terrain and in order to get by, in order to find your way through things, you have to build structures. You have to build ladders. You have to build, not build ropes, but you have to set climbing anchors and ropes and such. If you find a way through an area, or if you find a shortcut, hey, listen, I put this ladder here and now I get here so much faster. Great. Once you lay it down, not only is it there for you to use, not only will it stay there and continue to be usable throughout the time you play the game, it gets injected into the world that other people are playing. So if you build a bridge, other people are going to be able to use it. If you build a ladder, other people are going to be able to use it. So you can create shortcuts for other people. They're going to appreciate it. So you've got a private room where you can rest, you can sleep. It, of course, it refills things like stamina, any kind of bodily damage you would have incurred, while you were on a trip gets healed in that way. You also have you have a toilet that you can use and a shower. When you when you use the bathroom, you have to pick which one you're going to do. Either you're going to do number one or number two, but you can't do both at the same time, which I think is kind of strange. So you have to pick whether you're going to do number one or number two, and then you do it. The interesting thing about this particular function in the game is that it's not like The Sims where you have to pee and in order to keep your person happy. I really don't think, I've never actually let him, but I don't think that there's any kind of performance change if you just don't let him use the bathroom. So I think it's kind of odd. But this is actually a way, excuse me, this is actually a way that you create weapons. And I think that that's kind of a little bit of a commentary on the state of the world, is that it's so busted, it's so messed up that humans are now having to resort to using their own bodily processes as a means of defense against the elements and against excuse me, and against any kind of forces that would be allied against you in the game. We won't talk any more about that. The good news is, some good news is that you get this motorcycle, handy dandy motorcycle, that comes at a point where, in my experience, I was ready to be upset with the game. Like, is this really what I'm going to be doing for the entirety of my experience in this game? Is walking to and from places right when it gets to a point where it becomes unbearable, when the distances becomes too far. You get a motorcycle, which is great. I mean, the motorcycle gives it cares absolutely not for what you're about to run over. I think it's kind of cool. You can run through the water, you can run over rocks, it's kind of neat and it's very, very helpful. It runs on runs on electricity. You plug it into a battery and it recharges itself. It's kind of great. I think it's great. So that's something you can take comfort in, is that you will not spend the whole time running and walking from point A to point B. There are actually moments where you'll be able to use a vehicle for the longer trips. Naturally, the vehicle will not be able to run straight up a mountain, so climbing will still be part of it, walking will still be part of it, but covering those large stretches of level terrain and some rivers, some hills and whatnot on the motorcycle is that makes a world of difference. You don't have to worry about your weight management. You don't have to worry about your center of gravity. You can't tuck the damn thing over, so it's the only thing that it matters is that it runs the battery down a little faster if you're carrying more weight. Big deal. It's a lifesaver. But yeah, the game is fun. Not for everybody. I enjoy it.